Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Get in Tune. Yes, I got a guest host here tonight, J.M. DeSantis.
Hello.
He has been a guest on the show in his home
Right.
and watch it in. But today, and this is one of the unfortunate announcements I got to make, the Spider's Web in Yonkers is once again closing. As you know, it closed last year, and it was bought by a couple of people. And Tom, one of them, who I've been talking with, has made the announcement on Instagram that the Spider's Web is closing again. He is looking for a new location. We hope that it comes back. We wish him a lot of luck. Right now though, if you live in the Yonkers, Bronx area, you can get to Yonkers, New York. Please head to 887A Yonkers Avenue across from the casino. He is having amazing sales, half price off all his trades. He has dollar books, brand new books. This is what you saw me reaching for over here. These were books that came out within the last couple of weeks. Most of these here. I'm sorry, just opening them up. I mean, look at this. A World's Finest. $1 I got this for today. He threw another World's Finest in here. This book I haven't seen before. I can't even read the title well, but
I think it's Greylock.
Greylock, I think so.
Yeah,
it's a
Greylock.
It's
is
a
on the
doll.
back.
Yeah.
It's
Is it?
Clear to read.
Oh, it's clear to read there. Yeah.
Yeah.
These, which these are a few months old, but I've really enjoyed the first issue of Arcade Kings. That was fun. I picked up some of my Gru that I need, my regular Gru here. And in addition, for half price,
I should have brought my books.
Yeah, you got
They're
some,
in my car.
You got some good stuff too.
Yeah.
But this is the studio art. I mean, the Studio Ghibli, the complete work. So it's like an art of almost. Half price there too. I mean, you can get some really great stuff, really great deals right now. I feel bad I have to buy them on half price. I mean, price wise, I'm happy, but I feel bad for the reason I'm purchasing them at that price. The Spider's Web was a great location, and please make sure you can visit it before they officially close on December 1st. Also, I didn't put up my name today. I don't know why. I'm a little slow on things today, it seems. But don't forget, my comic strip, The Wiz, came out today. So at The Wiz Comic, where is it? Right there. On Instagram and Facebook, every Wednesday morning I post. But speaking of comic strips, we have an awesome guest tonight. Because as you guys know, I'm a huge comic strip fan. I love my strips. And I prefer strips to books, actually. And we have our guest is publishing and editing a complete comic strip. It's a newspaper full of comic strips, just like when you used to get the Sunday newspaper. But what's different is he has a bunch of talented artists who are doing new strips. So you're not seeing Garfield in here or For Better or Worse, which are awesome strips. You're seeing strips, and one of the artists is right here with writers. You're writing the strip. You're writing the strip. So
Danovich is doing the art on mine.
All right. So let's bring on this guy. We've made him wait too long, and if I screw up his name, please correct me. I apologize. It's John Kanakry. Is that right? Maybe. We'll find out. How'd I do?
You're my third grade teacher. Not bad.
Kanakry, right?
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Okay, I listened to him.
Give you the mulligan.
Do you know how long it took me to learn Chadiana? His comic, Chadiana.
Yeah. Well, it's a tongue twister for
So,
how are you guys?
Yes, very good. Thank you for coming on.
Well. This
You're
was
very
a
welcome.
surprise for me, so it's good to see you though, John.
Yes, this really was. JM was at the Spider's Web today, and we were together. And I said, "Hey, why don't you come over for dinner? And you could co-host the show with me because you know John."
Yeah, we got to know each other in Wellsboro, Pennsylvania at a Comic-Con this summer, and had a really good time. It was nice.
Oh
That's
yeah,
good.
even with the our meal, as I remember it, was an experience. I forgot what the name of that place was that we went to.
You talk about the ice cream?
No, before the ice cream, we went out to dinner at that pub, and it was we were giving that kid a hard time. The waiter.
Look, he earned every bit of that hard
I
time.
know he did. I know.
I forgot the name of that, but that's
Yeah.
funny.
Well, let's get into learning a bit more about you before we get into talking about your awesome product, A Kid in a Comic.
Sure.
So tell us about you, how you got into comics. What was, what is your comic background, if you will?
This is going to be a short conversation.
Okay.
My comic background is being a kid, right? Growing up in the 70s and, seeing comic books at every 7-Eleven and Turnstile and getting interested in, at the time, the stories weren't prevalent. It's the big colors. It's the superheroes. It's at that time, the reruns of the Marvel, 1966 and 67, horrible now that you look at them, cartoons, but I can probably sing, and I'm not going to. I want you to have an audience. Every one of the opening songs of those shows, the Captain America, the Submariner, all those. So that led into just getting more and more books and reading them. And then I started to get drawn to certain things that I really like. Now, what I was drawn to, and I didn't realize it, is Jack Kirby, is, Joe Sinnott. Mm-hmm. Not knowing, at 7, 8, 9, 10 years old what that is. So fast forward to me, discovering girls and forgetting about comic books in my teens. I pack them all up, I put them away. And now we'll do another quick fast forward to now I'm always have interest, right? I'm up on the movies, I'm up on the plot lines, I read a little bit, but not full blown. And then we get back into COVID and we're not going anywhere. So I do what most people did. And I go, you know what? I got to feel like I've accomplished something. I'm going to go in the basement. I'm going to start thinning out all this junk that I've been holding on to throughout the years. I'm going to start getting rid of stuff. If it's worth anything, maybe I'll throw it on eBay like everybody else did and fine. With the best intentions, it pretty much led to me sitting down there for 2 weeks rereading comic books that I was never going to get rid of. Okay. Yeah. So here comes the spark. Here comes the fire again. So we start getting out of the house a little bit more, and I get my local comic shop, and I get on their pull list, and I start finding titles that I'm really interested in. I'm reading and really getting back into it, really enjoying the heck out of it. And one day I come back and I'm in the basement. I got a little area down there, and I've got a new key, right? Ridiculous to call things a key. It's probably something that Netflix might buy the rights to in 10 years and maybe make a show about, and that thing will be worth a couple more bucks than I paid for it.
Yeah.
But I drop it. Okay. I'm trying to bag and board it, and I drop it right on the corner. Right. There it is. Your face. What you just did with your face. I feel your pain, right? You know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm cussing and swearing up a storm. I told the story before, and my wife, she looks down the staircase. She goes, "You okay?" Thinking I stubbed my toe or I did something, right? I'm like, yeah, I dropped a comic book. She, "You did what?" Like you idiot, and I'm like, at that point, I realized my 10-year-old self would have probably tuned me up a little bit for what I thought of, collecting comics was about at that time. So get into some time opened up in my life in last fall. I stopped doing one thing. I used to coach quite a bit, and I stepped away from that. And I'm like, I've always wanted to get into this industry, but I don't want to be just another Kickstarter that sold a few books and faded away. And nothing wrong with those things, but I wanted something that really lent on nostalgia and kind of bridged a gap between a younger audience and brought nostalgia back to an older audience. I didn't want to pigeonhole myself into being just a kiddie mag, and I didn't want to be so serious and adult, if you will, in humor that a kid couldn't pick it up. And I didn't ever want anything graded. no CGC, none of that stuff. So I'm like, okay, what can we do that nobody else is doing? I started asking around to some of my comic friends online that I had met through COVID, and some artwork that I purchased and some posters that I had done. And the response was actually surprising. I thought, maybe a couple people might think this is a cool idea. We'll do something with it. Turns out more than a couple people thought it was a cool idea. We started out, doing the newspaper, or I started out thinking about, okay, hey, let's just do an 8-page quarterly newspaper. Every 4 months, something fun. Keep it simple, not a big investment, not a big loss, whatever. Well, then the word started getting around. I signed a couple of people, and I'll be perfectly honest, that I didn't expect to sign. Scott Hanna came on board, and I'm like, my wife knows my world like most wives, but she doesn't know my she'll smile and pretend like she knows what I'm talking about in some cases. But when I get off the phone and I'm literally giddy like a little kid, and I'm like, we just got Scott Hanna. She's like, really? Who's Scott Hanna? So as soon as that happened, then it's funny, because the next person you talk to and you say, oh, by the way, Scott's on the project, or Riley Brown's on the project, or J.M. DeSantis is on the project, and Len Danovich is on the project, and Bill Morrison from The Simpsons is on the project. And honestly, it gives me the credibility I don't have, and at the same time, it makes people think, hey, this could be fun, So that was the birth.
Now,
I do want to say I appreciate you throwing my name in as giving you credibility. I don't know that that's true.
Mama didn't raise no idiots, brother.
Okay, so I have your website up, but I'm going to show that in a bit so people can kind of get an idea of what what they expect. But okay, so you went the strip route. You're going quarterly in here. These are new comics, but when you were talking with the artists or the writers or creators, whatever term you want to use, what was the process to agree on the strip? Were these ideas that you had them come up with and said, sell me on an idea? Or was it like, I have these ideas, can you guys create some idea, some of my stuff?
So I wanted this to be original content, and I have ideas. I've written some stuff, but I'm not delusional enough to think that they're, worthy of centering a project around. Maybe in the future, I get a little strip area, fine, but not. Mm-hmm. So, and these are people that I admire, read their work already. Why wouldn't I let them just do their thing? Okay. Yeah. Now the business model, it's tough because, look, we've got about 30 creators between writers and inkers and colorists and everything like that. I can't. It is not profitable enough to pay those people yet. So, yeah. First, what I tried to do is I tried to seek out people who already had some sort of content that they've invested in, their own IPs, okay, their own properties. Yeah. So that my trade-off would be I would print, publish, and distribute their work that already supported things that they already had going, to further make them money, to further give them exposure, develop their product, and so on. Mm-hmm. In some cases, in some very big names, you have to go a different route with that, which is fine. But it's I'm lucky enough too. Remember, we're every other month. We started off thinking about going quarterly, but we're actually 7 issues a year. So 6 plus a big holiday annual, which we're all ramping up for right now. It's easy for me to say that, and maybe it's not fair to say it's not a heavy lift, but it's 7 strips for the entire year. Okay. Yeah. So depending on if you're doing a full strip, a single, whatever the case may be, it's probably, 3-4 pages of art total. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm not downplaying that whatsoever, but it's definitely not the commitment of doing a whole book. Okay. So that's that balance of time availability where you can get people who obviously are going to make their money, their living elsewhere, but still would like to get involved in this was crucial. We talked about doing one issue a month, and I just don't see now if we blow up and we go which where I think we'll be, then that's a different conversation. There's compensation that would help make that come true. But right now, 7 strips a year really works well to balance these big name artists who have other commitments. And let's be honest, the size of the artist, really, everybody has commitments. Everybody's hustling and trying to hone their craft and work their product. So
yeah, oh, makes sense. Just before we continue, I want to say hi to Dylan in the audience and Sebastian. Sebastian saying I can't even read that from here, but he's
you and I are in the same room.
Yes, I thank you. I'm sorry, I'm dealing with a little eye issue. I've made all my fonts bigger, but I still can't see a little too well right now. But yeah, so why don't we just show this product, because you got some great artists, great writers on here, and you got yours. Let's give you full screen so you can show it. I was going to.
No, it's okay. Well, we can get to that too.
Yeah.
So this is the front page of issue 3. This is our Halloween issue. Okay. So if you look right here in the bottom corner right there, that's our guy Henshu. Henshu is kind of the mascot of the paper. He takes us through and does the introductions necessary. Fantastic strip of the front there by Scott Hanna. Dodge and Hustle. We turn it over on the back, and we've got a great panel here by Riley Brown, Thunder Guardian, Marty and Spud. And then we add a bunch of little things to the paper. So there's a list of comic conventions in the area. Well, I shouldn't say in the area, in the United States, and actually one out of the United States. So there's really a lot going on. If you're a fan of horror or you're a fan of suspense, that's the middle layout page, okay? That's Mike Lilly. That's Tony Harris, Darren Auk, Mike Gustovich. So, to show you some of the, here's our creators, and there's a lot of them in here, right?
Wow. Yeah, a little more to the.
Yeah,
other...
so let me just help you out. I'm a mess here.
Yeah, right there.
There we go.
Yeah.
So if you look,
wow,
that's a ton of people involved in this.
Yeah.
And some people who have done some pretty big work in the past and are currently doing it, But it's things like crosswords, it's mazes, word searches and games. And here's one here, how to draw. There's a Sudoku there for one of our characters. Right here, Henshu's Quest. This is kind of fun. See that little, looks like an Atari joystick?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's 14 of them hidden in the entire paper, real tiny. So you have to go there and you have to search the paper and find, what you're looking for. You want to learn how to color like a pro? Mark McKenna talks about that. He gives artwork that you can color. He tells you about the shading and how to get there and what to do. So it's not just, we're not just trying to give you something to read. We're trying to give you an experience. We're trying to give you a feeling, a vibe, a throwback. Everything's centered around that. Now, you can go to the website if you'd like, and there's a few panels and pages there. But it's everything we do. And I say we, all the artists have been phenomenal, all the writers. Darren Auk, who's the former head of the Marvel art department, is my associate editor. Fantastic having him on board. He's also a former teacher at the Kubert School. Mm-hmm. So what a better guy to have with, this group of people and giving me an extra set of eyes of experience that is invaluable. To say, okay, we're always looking to be nostalgic. We're always looking to produce a feeling, from the smell of the paper to the texture. What kind of bonded paper are we using? how are we getting this done? What's our size? What's our coloring look like? Are we using muted tones? Are we using bright tones? How does it all work? And it's all taken into consideration.
That's amazing. I just want to say hi to Joe Ryan, who's come in here, and
And hi to Dylan.
Hey, Joe.
Oh,
Hi to me directly.
yes.
Yeah.
So casual about that. Hey, Joe Ryan.
Yeah. Joe Ryan is another cartoonist. He's done a few things. He's a Kubert School graduate. He's someone I know, good guy. So, but yeah, listen, just everything you're telling me already sounds amazing. And if I haven't seen this up close and personal already, I would have wanted it. And while I'm on that topic, how do we get a copy of this?
So it's pretty simple. You go to the website. It's www.akidandAcomic, all one word, akidandAcomic.com. And it's pretty self-explanatory. On the front page there, you can hit subscribe now, or you can look around, see all the artists involved, see some of the sample work in there. There's little things that kind of explain to you what's going on with it. We always include a video on the front page. Do you know our biggest challenge has been people understanding what this actually is? Like we'll talk to somebody and they'll say, is it like you print this, or is it digital? And I'm like, no, you hold it in your hand. It's like, and I had to watch what age group I talk to, because there is a definite cutoff of people who understand, or presumably understand, what I'm talking about.
And you mentioned in there you had, I believe it was Mike Lilly doing kind of like a horror type of comic. What age group is this targeted at? I mean, is this good for kids? Is it a little older because you have a little horror theme?
No, when I say horror, it's definitely not gore, if you will, right? It's I would say suspense, spooky. We draw a line. I mean, JM and Land, they kind of skirt that line. They're perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
I just got the latest issue. I saw a little blood on the fist there. No doubt.
In there,
so
but
I think
I don't know.
I think it's fairly all age appropriate. When I say that, there might be a word or two in there, nothing that's not heard in every household, but it's not excessive and it's not much. It is definitely, there's a couple strips in there that might go over the head of some of the youngest readers.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say from middle school all the way up to our age, which seems to be a big draw, it's appropriate. It's not inappropriate. One of our writers is Riley Brown's son, Will Brown, and he's a first grader or second grader now. And he writes Thunder Guardian. Yep.
That is interesting, because I have looked at that strip just art wise. It's something that I'm attracted to with the bright colors and stuff. I like it. I like that strip a lot.
I personally think that Riley Brown is a displaced Bronze Age comic artist in current times. His work looks just like it.
It's
like you could have picked up a 1972 Marvel Spotlight, and Riley could have been drawing it.
There's a sneak peek of it just so we can get a closer up in here, right?
Did I put Riley's in there? I believe I did.
I gotta look. I mean, you guys check this stuff. The black and white stuff. This stuff looked awesome to me. I love black and white art. And looking at that, but man, this is just gorgeous here.
Wow, there's me on one.
This one's yours?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's Len's artwork. It's
nice.
Yeah,
that's got that crazy cool noir feel to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. And I'm a big fan of Matt's work. I love Matt.
Matt Hansel?
So yeah,
he does a great job.
his
really
stuff
good.
is fantastic. I actually did interview him a while back before this was Get in Tune. I got to get him back on the show. He's a very interesting guy. But yeah, I'm looking at Thunder Guardian here. This is fantastic here, and for me, like the way I, what I'm attracted to comic wise,
You know how that came about, right? Thunder Guardian.
You could. I believe I read about it online, but please tell the story.
So real quickly, Will, Brown Riley's son, likes to tell his dad. Obviously they talk superheroes. If your dad's a comic, strip writer or comic book writer, you're going to talk about that. So Will came up with his own character, drew his own character, samples of it and everything. And his dad decided this was the perfect project to take all that. And true to form, he has talked to Will about every strip, and Will has told him how the story is going to go. It's amazing. I can't even tell you how hard I laugh. I'll give it. Well, this is already distributed. So in the last Thunder Guardian, the end panel says, "I'll teach you to steal my pop, you phony. Phony, I'm not the real finger shot. How can you be eating my frozen peas? Arg." And then they start throwing frozen peas as weapons down on Thunder Guardian.
Oh,
if a first grader didn't write that, and I'm loving it. I'm loving every aspect of it. It's so awesome.
This is fantastic. Good, yeah. No, I really like it, and I love the layout. I like how you have everything laid out here. But yeah, this is beautiful. Everything here is gorgeous. I can't stop looking at the artwork. I spent the other. Do you know I haven't read anything on this page yet because I just can't stop staring at the art.
No, I'll tell you right there. That's the first strip. It's actually not by Bill Morrison. It's actually not called Andy the Keenest Teen. That is a spoof of Archie.
Yes.
Obviously, but if you look there, Archie meets Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the secret serum, falls in the ice cream, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So the whole strip is hilariously done. It's about Victor Victorious. I don't know if you know Roswell or if you're familiar with Roswell, which was Bill Morrison's a comic for Boingo Comics when he did Futurama. And Roswell's fantastic, but one of the main characters in Roswell, his favorite comic book and superhero was Victor Victorious. So he decided to take that character and develop out the entire strip on it, and it's amazing.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, I got to think. I used to read those comics, so I probably know it. I just haven't, off the top of my head. I need to see it again. But yeah, no, this is great stuff here. I love everything you got here, man. Beautiful. So, so you mentioned you went on you reached out to comic friends you knew on the internet. Were these artists, or when you were polling to see if this was a good idea, was this just other people you had who had interest in comics?
So, real quick side story. Mm-hmm. During that boredom in COVID, I figured out that I was really drawn to certain artwork, and I really enjoyed it. Right, so I wanted to collect a little bit of artwork.
Okay.
And I started looking into the artists I really liked and how much art costs, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to see how much a Jim Lee, 5,000 what, so you can understand that I could save up for 6 months or a year to get one piece of art, or I could do something different. I decided to design my own posters that had a cover of 8 covers of that artist's famous work, and then left a space in the middle that was about 4 inches square, and then send it to them and get them to do a commission on it or sketch on it. Yeah. So I did that over COVID, and it got really big, and I'm at 200 posters now.
Wow.
So they're all on my wall here. So here's an example of one that Neil Adams did for me.
Wow.
So if you look, it's got some of Neil's famous.
I'm going to give you the full screen so we can see it better.
I know we got the glare there.
Yeah, it's okay.
You got some of Neil's famous things, and that's the sketch Neil did for me when I sent it to him.
Nice.
Before he passed, God rest his soul. Yeah. So I do the 8 different things there, and then, that's what I end up with. Now, that's funny how you ask how this came about. I met a guy online named Scott Hanna. And Scott did a Hulk that looked something like that. That was pretty freaking awesome.
Mm.
Wash is done.
Yep.
So talking and learning about all these artists and meeting them and getting these posters done and everything else. That's how I made the initial connections. So at least I had some dialogue going with these people. And then when this idea came along, I decided to run it by a few people that I felt comfortable running it by, and got a good response. Now, don't get me wrong. I've been, for every one person that has accepted a spot or has considered it, there's been 10 people that are like, no, thank you. Right. What's the best could have been moment, and his health took a turn for the worse and he ended up passing away. But Joe Gaella
Oh, yeah. Wow.
was considering doing a strip.
That would have been all. I am a huge fan of Joe's work.
Yeah, such a cool guy. And I worked with his representative down in Florida, and wasn't to be, but it was fun having all these conversations, and some guys telling me this is never going to work, your business model sucks, and that's fine, and I get it, just makes you want to work a little bit harder.
Yeah. No, I get you. When everyone says no to me, it makes me push.
Yeah.
So it's just this, but man, yeah, no, so this is, I mean, it was good. So you had all these artists that kind of like, one artist kind of connected you to another kind of in a way, right? And
and then word started getting out. People started approaching us.
Yeah.
And there were some things that worked out and some things that didn't. We almost were very close to having a not anime, but why can't I think of the name of the format? The more vertical format, Japanese style.
the manga,
Pardon me?
the manga style.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we just, it broke my heart to tell that guy no after a while, because the art looked good, but we couldn't tell enough story in just a couple of panels. There's not much dialogue going on there, so we couldn't tell a whole lot of story.
Mm-hmm.
So, you figure out what works and what doesn't, because, and I'm sure JM can tell you this, it's tricky to get in, start getting people hooked, let them know kind of what's happened before, and leave them hanging, wanting to come back for more. It's not easy.
No, in fact, that was part of the instructions, right? On the first 2 or 3 strips, was to make sure if anybody missed the first 1 or 2 issues, that they could still keep up with it without feeling like they missed a beat. And
Interesting.
yeah, it well,
No, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I just never thought about, like, I'm just thinking of the strips I do in my head right now. And I showed you that one earlier with the ship I used on my Monday night live draw.
Right.
And I'm trying to think, would by the 3rd strip somebody be able to not have to read the first? I don't know. I have to think about that. Story.
For what it's worth, though, I did do a short-lived comic strip in my school newspaper in high school, so I kind of had a little bit of experience with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, because it was the same thing. I remember the same directive. It's like, nobody can start picking this up midway through the school year and they don't know what's going on. You got to give them something. So it's like, it's a trick between moving the story along just enough, but also making sure that you lead with, okay, well, if I started here, I don't feel like I'm getting in the middle of the story, even if it is. I still feel like I can follow it.
Well, you did a great job with the lead-in paragraphs, the intro boxes.
Right. I think that was Darren's suggestion. Yeah, and it really did work out well, because it helped. It did.
See, Darren comes to the right. That guy's invaluable, man. I got to tell you.
He's invaluable, and he's a great guy to be around. He's a lot of fun. So,
he really is.
Yeah.
Do you know who Darren is, Michael?
Darren, what's his name again? Darren. What's the last name?
It's pronounced Auk, Aucaeck.
I don't think I know him.
Oh, really? Next time
he wears
the same place.
At Comic Cons, he wears a wolf hat. Like,
I don't know.
He's
I
about
may
6'5"
know him.
and
I may know him by face, but not by name.
he's a big dude.
Oh yeah, he's like 6'3".
He's 6'5". Yeah.
Oh, is he
6'5"?
6'5"?
Wow.
Yeah, because we're the same height, and he's a
Okay.
big dude. I don't rarely look people in the eye, and he's a big dude.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
And the kindest, gentlest soul you'll ever meet. Such a nice
That's
guy.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I know. I need to see his face. I'll have to look him up after the
If
show.
we're ever at the same con together, I'll introduce you guys.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well,
what
funniest
is-
thing, I got a little side. Darren's. This is hilarious too. Darren is such a nice guy that I know his tells when he doesn't like something, but he doesn't want to come out and say he doesn't like something. He'll be like, yeah, that's pretty good. I could see where he was going with that. I'm like, Darren, just tell me it sucks already.
And and remind, what does Darren do for the?
So
Script.
Darren does the unknown. He does one of the spooky ones called the unknown.
Okay.
And it's all hand drawn, and it's all hand inked, and you can tell too, right? You can see the stroke marks and everything, the brush marks on it. It's pretty freaking cool, man. It's about like a psychic podcast that goes into a certain area, and they're trying to research like kind of like, you ever see The Conjuring?
I don't watch horror stuff, but
Okay, well,
I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
my wife's seen it. I'm not a horror fan.
okay.
I will read them. Here's the thing: I'll read them in comics, but I can't watch them. So
It's a little too real.
yeah, I can't do stuff like that. It just my mind is a little overactive, and I'm hyperactive by nature, and so like when my mind keeps going, especially at night when I'm trying to shut it down and go to sleep, all that stuff that I've watched throughout the day or that I've read is now in my head. So like if I watched anything horror or suspenseful, and you see the light of a car passing by, and oh, what was that? Or my cat's in another room and I'm trying to get to sleep, and you hear a noise that the cat's playing with a toy, and all of a sudden, horror movies start coming up in the head, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not going to get up to go to the bathroom tonight. It's
fair enough.
Things like that. So I don't watch horror, but I will read it in comic form. I don't mind the artwork if it's even a little gory. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah.
So,
But that's what Darren does for us, and we've got some cool stuff.
do you have a copy of this paper in your car?
In the car?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I was gonna have to say I was gonna buy one off you before you leave.
Oh, well.
I was gonna have to purchase a copy of this, man. That was amazing.
I
and the funny thing is too, what we really want people, and I'm not just sales pitching here, but the subscription aspect of it is really cool, because the things that we do for subscribers, they get limited prints that are numbered, and they get like I sent out Halloween masks for the last issue. We did some. I got them here. I haven't sent them out yet, but for a limited number of subscribers, these are from Jay Fife. These are Merry Monster sketch cards. These are all hand sketched on the bottom there. So that's really cool stuff. And that's numbered. That's number 5 of 5. So I've got the rest of them here. And they come with a Merry Monster enamel pin.
Oh, cool.
So every month, a subscriber to the paper gets something extra in their package. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly what's coming out next month, but it might be something like that.
Ooh. Those were some of my favorite things as a kid.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. Yeah.
Love them. Let's see in the comments. Joe is talking, I believe, about Darren.
Yeah, he's giving him a lot of love.
A lot of love. He says he was one of my favorite instructors. I believe that's what he says, right? Yeah.
I talked to Joe about being on our project.
Really?
Yeah. He's
Ah,
developing one. He's already signed with a publisher, and he wanted to stay on point with that. But he's got a great 80s retro.
I know.
You're aware of it, okay?
Oh, Joe's done cons with me.
Okay, he's what a great dude.
Yeah,
you know,
really nice guy.
And a kid. I just noticed Addie's a wonderful gal who does a great little strip called Spiffy. I love her unique art style. It's great.
Nice. I'll have to check. I don't know if I know Addie's work. I'll have to look that up.
It's very simple. It's a one box. I can show you Addie's work.
Is it? It's in your.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We got them all, baby. So this one's a little more to it, but
Let me give you this.
that's Spiffy right there. So Spiffy is kind of a cross between a gerbil and a squirrel and a hamster. Yeah.
Nice.
So that's Spiffy.
Cool. I'll have to make sure to look into that and check the more of that stuff. I love single panel gags. That's where I got my start. So, like writing comics was in the single panel stuff.
Oh.
So, yeah, no, that's cool stuff. So yeah, God, I don't even know what to ask right now. I'm just excited about everything you're doing here. Let me get back to the website. Let me bring the website back up. At the moment, though, JM, do you have any questions?
Do I have questions?
Yeah, I mean, for John, yeah, or
we chat fairly often.
Yeah, or do you have any? Well, I'm not talking like business. I'm talking about the product, or that you think, or anything you think the audience should know.
Oh God, jeez, I feel like you covered a lot. I can definitely say from my own perspective, not as somebody being involved in the project, but just liking the concept when Len sort of described it to me and then John explained a little bit more further. I do like the fact that there's something for everyone in it. And I know it's hard for a publication to do stuff like that, but really, whether you like the horror stuff or you like more cutesy fun stuff or you like something more action packed, or there's a comic in there. There's at least one comic in there for everyone. And I think, like anything else, when you're holding that book in your hand or you're holding that newspaper in your hand, you'll check out the other ones too, and you might find a couple other ones you really like. It's a nice eclectic mix.
It's funny you mention that because when we were putting together the list early on, last January as we're starting to sign people, we put 4 different categories together of strips, and we wanted to keep some parity so that it appealed to a wide range of people. Because when you buy one comic book, whether you like that or absolutely love that comic book, that is the topic, the character, and the adventure that you are stuck in, right?
Right.
Here you can pick up one issue and you can go halfway through and it's like, that's not for me. Or you can find yourself laughing unexpectedly at something you wouldn't have bought otherwise. So like you said, you just never know.
Yeah, it's a good mix, and you got exposed to a lot of different styles and
it does look like that. Like I know, like I said, I saw it on Tim's table, I saw it on your table, Enrique's table. Yeah. I looked at them and I flipped kind of through it without. I didn't want to, because the thing was, I knew you guys were selling, so I didn't want to open and really like go through the pages. But I was just giving you a comment. I appreciate that, but listen, you guys are out to sell and make money. I try to give where I can, Yeah. And I'll tell you, the problem was all 3 of you were next to each other. How do I buy a copy from someone? And you guys
that was at Contropolis, New Jersey. So issue 3 wasn't out. But if issue 3 had been out, you could have went
one to each. That would have made sense. Yes,
exactly.
Yes, that would have made sense back then. But
and I think Enrique, you wanted to get 3 from, because I don't think Enrique started until issue 3, right? Yeah. The more recent one, if I'm not mistaken, John. I don't know.
Yeah, no, Enrique is not with us, and he had played. There was a conflict. He was going to be, and it didn't continue on. But we're talking about the future.
Okay. Well, next time. Yeah. So I will definitely get a copy.
Now I do have to give a shout out, because this is the video you're playing, to Austin Huff in Power Comics.
Austin's awesome. He's been on the show.
Yeah, and he's doing the Masters and all his work there. Mm-hmm. He has brought 3 comics to our table: How to Use Your Frog Properly, The Halloween Closet, and Mike Lilly and Monster Hunter Hercules. So really, really wonderful. That we hooked up with him and he brought those strips to the table.
This is fantastic.
Well, the only other thing I can offer is the insane way that me and Len came together on this thing. Because it was last minute when Len came to me and he was like, "I think you're somebody that can get stuff done. I've seen what you do. I'll draw it, you write it." And Len just had all these different ideas and he just threw them at me, and I just wrote them all down on a piece of paper and formed it into a script, which was
Okay.
not a way I've normally worked, but it was a lot of fun. I gotta be honest, it really was. I just got to take these like little nuggets of things and compile it into. Actually, the character, Eugene is. I like him now. Like at first, it was like, all right, we just got to get something together so it works. And as you develop something, you're like, oh no, this is really good. I'm proud of this. But it was different the way it came together. Because if I remember, John, I don't think Len approached me until like February. I think things were already rolling. And,
we had a number of people signed. He was a late addition. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was interesting. We had a couple phone calls.
Yeah.
I said, all right, let me just work on this, and I got some ideas together. He threw some new ones in, and it again, not the way I typically work.
Yeah.
It was a great experience because I always like doing that. I always like collaborating differently or learning new techniques.
Yeah.
And it was a fun challenge.
Yeah.
It was like, getting this together. And I got to give a shout out to Mindy Lopkin because she's doing the lettering for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Len wanted
very
me
good job. And a quick turnaround too.
Yeah. Oh, Mindy's fast.
Yeah, she's
oh
very talented. I mean,
yeah, she works on the Chadiana series. She does.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, she does. For Bill Tucci now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, Mindy's great. Originally, Len wanted me to letter it, and I was like, Len, you don't want me to letter it. I'll go. I have somebody. I'll contact Mindy, see what she's up to if she's got time. Yeah, I could send. Well, it just happened the other day. I sent Mindy something in the morning. She's like, I'll have it this afternoon, and it came in at like 11 a.m. It wasn't even in the afternoon. And I'm not trying to promise anybody that they'll get that kind of turnaround from Mindy. Please don't start harassing her if she's not that quick.
I should get her on the
fast.
show. She's a very interesting.
Yeah, Mindy is. Yeah, and I've known Mindy almost my entire career because when I started with KJ Murphy's Comic Book Artist Guild, Mindy and her husband Eric were members. So known Mindy a long time.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I've met her a few times at shows. I remember that. She's nice, very nice person.
And I, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, she's known in the U.S., but on the comic scene in the U.K., she's even bigger because she's had a couple of books she's lettered that have hit pretty well. So,
I wasn't aware.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of that.
I found out when she told me one day. I was like, "Oh, see that, Mindy? You got a whole following across the pond." So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for her. I like to hear things like that.
Yeah.
Man, I just kind of sidetracked.
No, it's okay.
No, it's okay.
I did want to tell everybody too that a portion of each subscription goes to the Hero Initiative and the Inkwell Awards.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we take a little bit of cash from when somebody subscribes, and we get it over to them. So it's we wish we could do a whole lot more, but if we don't stay viable, they don't get anything. So
I understand. And this is I'm just looking, as I'm looking at the video, this is standard newspaper size, like 11 by 17.
Oh no,
right?
we're bigger, baby.
You're
we
bigger?
Are bigger. We are 13 by 18.
Okay.
Yep. So, and the funny thing is, it is not a standard size in the U.S. So this gets printed in Paris, France, and sent here.
Really interesting.
Yep.
Hey, wait a minute though. They're not interested in it over there, John, because the French read a lot of comics.
Yeah.
I will tell you, if we're talking about the challenges of it all.
Yeah.
And I'll be blatantly honest. I'm a bit of a one-man show.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I know that. I get that.
Yeah. No. And I'm not. complaining by any means. and I do. So we're working on some broad scope distribution, right? Some stuff that I've got a gentleman in Kyoto, Japan. Oddly enough, the number one publication distribution group there is 7-Eleven still.
Huh.
In Japan. So
why don't we have comics in 7-Eleven? Just generally speaking, but also a kid.
Because they cost $4.99. You know what I mean? And your average kid doesn't walk around with a 5 spot in their pocket. And that's not a knock, because ours is more than that. You get about 4 times the amount of stuff in it than you do one comic, but it's just the way production world and everything works nowadays.
Yeah, that's true.
Parents, raise your kids' allowances.
Yeah, that's true. It's inflation. We gotta
Give them 25,
keep
send them off to the comic store.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
So
a pack of gum doesn't cost 10 cents anymore. We got that up.
Wow, I didn't even make myself feel that old.
It wasn't 10 cents when I was a kid either. I think it was 50.
Back in my day.
Yeah. I just remember Wrigley's as a quarter at one point. That was the cheapest I've ever seen it.
Yeah. Wow,
get the quarter Wrigley's. Wow, man, this
I like the juicy fruit. You chew it for about 5 seconds and the flavor is gone. Tasted horrible. But the striped zebra, the colored striped zebra.
Oh yeah.
It was.
That wasn't juicy fruit. That was
That's an
no. It was fruity something.
Fruity stripe.
Fruity stripe. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Tasted good for 5 seconds.
Yeah. But they usually did. That
See, we're all about the nostalgia, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the beauty of it. Yeah. I mean, listen, how do I say? For me, I'm talking for me personally. I miss this stuff. I miss having comics in my hand, the newspaper comics. I grew up on this. I grew up every Sunday, having the Sunday paper. I grew up with my father reading the paper, and like daily. And when he had I'd get the comics, I'd read them. That's all I ever wanted to read. If JM and I move behind me, I'm sorry, I got a lot of stuff right now. Don't touch that towel. That's for my It's all comic strip collections. I got Pogo, Hagar the Horrible, Peanuts, BC, Beetle Bailey, Garfield. It's new stuff too. I have oh, that's not it. I thought it was right there. But our friend Tim Jones's Sour Grapes collections. I live on comic strip collections. I love this stuff. So to have a newspaper back with comics and brand new stuff that I have no clue about, like I've never read before, this really excites me. And I know there's a lot of people out there who think like me, old school, people, because this is where we got our introduction to comics. Our introduction, some of us introduction to superheroes. I mean, I got my Phantom piece up there, and I love all that stuff. So having a mixture, and I'm still looking at the video, it's off, but I just saw Tim's stuff. Having humor mixed with action, mixed with horror, mixed with, it's like it's even like the old anthologies books, if you will, from like the 50s and 60s, where you would get a comic book and there was a superhero story and a detective story and romance and all, it was all in one thing. So you're taking something that was so classic and just natural to how, what people were accustomed to.
Well, wait till next year.
Wait till what?
Wait till next year. Like the next run, we're considering taking on a couple of public domain, like very famous public domain characters into some runs again. I don't know. We should ask your fan base if we should do Steamboat Willie. He is now. See, should we take on the Eye of the Beast and say, hey Disney, guess what?
We have a friend that would be all supportive of it, because
yes. Listen, I'd love to hear about this, because I'm a huge public domain supporter. I do a lot of work in the public domain, and I'm actually I don't want to announce what it is, but I am working on a humor strip featuring public domain characters right now.
Okay.
So a friend of mine and I, we're getting together to work on a public domain humor strip, which I've been trying to get done on my own for a while, and I needed a writer, and that's what it came down to. So, but yeah, I'd love to, off the air, since you can't announce it, maybe.
Yeah, no, it's definitely we're looking. So we're looking at public domain. We're also looking at purchasing for the right reasonable cost the rights to some character entities that may have been obscure but knowledgeable, like some Saturday morning cartoons, some things that we all loved back in the day that can be turned into something that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, you're naming everything that was my inspiration to do art, to create comics. So I'm gonna have to subscribe at some point, and get these, because
you just happen to have the website up.
Yes, I do. Yeah. It's akidinacomic.com. You guys out there, you know what? I'm gonna drop it in the comments for those who need it. Let me just do that. www.akidinacomic.com. So you guys, you need to go there. You need to click on subscribe and choose the annual subscription there. Right?
And I tell you what, if they do that and they put in the comments, okay, go ahead and put in the comments that you were referred by Get in Tune, a copy of the previous issue, and it won't count towards your subscription, your year's subscription. So I'll give you a previous issue free, and we'll start your subscription with the current issue.
That's great. Yes.
And if you need back issues, I've got them on my table. So seek me out at a convention.
Support your artists.
The
when the t-shirts come out, start buying their t-shirts too.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm going to be getting a couple myself. So
Well, I don't think I have any other questions to ask right now, because I mean, listen, I want you back. I want to bring on some of your artists. They all can't fit in this room. Actually, we're lucky JM and I can fit in this room together.
We tested it first.
Yeah, I almost had to tell him you need to leave, but it's we were able to make it in this room together here. So, I would love for you to come back with some of your team. And,
I would love to be here
and discuss that, and we'll save that for the new year. But my God, yeah, I don't have any questions. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about that we haven't discussed?
And I think Jam can attest to this. I'm open-minded in what this is. I'm not arrogant in the fact that this is my baby. It's got to be a certain way. I do have a vision. I understand how I would like it to be, but it's also, if you're reading this and you like something, say you're following somebody on Instagram or Facebook or somewhere, and you like their strip and you're like, this is perfect for this. You got to reach out to this guy. Hit us up. Let us know, if you think something's working, or if unfortunately we have a dud or it doesn't hit right with you, let us know why. So, if it's something in our control we can do. We really want people to feel part of a family in this regard, because that everything today is about distancing yourself from people. We text message, we don't call. We get food dropped off at our door. We don't even go pick it up ourselves or say hello to the person who did it. It's like we wait till they walk away before we go grab our Uber Eats or whatever, right? So we gotta get a little bit more collaborative societally, and that's what I'd like this to be about to a certain extent.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. You got to give me a second. I forgot that I have a clock that goes off hourly while the light is on. It's a Peanuts clock my wife gave me. So it just hit 10 o'clock, and
darn you, Linus.
I don't know if you heard it, but
I did.
Oh, you did. Okay. I didn't want to. Okay, I didn't want to. In case it was disturbing.
It was good background music for what John was saying.
Not one of us are going to turn into a pumpkin.
So again, I have nothing else to ask, because I think I've asked everything that I can ask for tonight. Jim, is there anything you'd like to add before? we
Well,
say.
I told my story how I got involved.
Yeah.
You know, I can't think of anything. You wanted me to be co-host, and I feel like
It's okay.
I should be like letting off noisemakers and stuff or something.
The comic relief.
Yeah,
it's
basically.
okay. It's okay, man. Listen, you did a great
More
job.
of the Ed McMahon of this this episode of Getting Tuned.
It's okay,
You
man.
know?
Listen, well, you'll. I'm sure you'll be back on when he brings on people.
Right.
We'll talk.
Right, yeah.
Um,
Or maybe I'll sit out so some
So
other people.
we
can
could
get
do that
the-
too.
you know, well, it's up to.
Yeah.
Up to
it's whoever can make it. I'm
You're
all-
always welcome.
yes.
yeah. No, I'll.
Yeah.
You know, if I can be there, I will.
You could always sit again right here.
Right. I could
and
do. Oh, save a screen.
save
Yeah.
the screen.
Right.
Save a screen, ride a cowboy. No, wrong song. Sorry.
So I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna drop you backstage, but I hope you can stay for a few minutes. I'd love to chat with you really quick.
Sounds good.
Backstage. All right. So thank you again for coming on. I don't want to mess up your name again. I'm sorry.
Just rip the Band-Aid off. Go for it.
John Kanakry.
Nailed it.
I did. Holy
Yeah, you
crap.
got it.
Learned it quicker than Chadiana.
Still saying it good though. Yeah.
So
Is that how you say that?
Yeah, that is how you say it. Chadiana. Yeah.
So thank you for coming on. I wish you so much luck with this with this project, with making this become really big, because I think you have a great idea here. I think you're dealing with a lot of fantastic artists that not only have a fan base already that people would want, but are doing things that maybe they haven't done before, for their audience. It's a new product. So I think it's great. So remember, everybody in the audience, akidinacomic.com. I'm just gonna do a little wrap up. I'll catch you backstage in a moment. All right.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I see him, John. No, he's gone already.
I'm sorry. All right, guys. I want to first of all thank everyone for tuning in who's watching live, whether you do this later on and it's not live. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, I just wanted to mention about the Spider's Web at 887A Yonkers Avenue in Yonkers, New York, across from the casino. They are closing as of December 1st. They currently have half price trades and dollar comics, even on the new stuff that came out, last week and whatever. We're all upset. The store was not only a Yonkers staple, but they supported indie comics. JM and I have both many times have tabled there, have been there for free comic book day, for just whatever. It's that
Yeah, just to hang out.
Yeah, it really was a great place, and and we wish Tom all the best on finding a new place and keeping the store alive, because Tom knows that if when he needs something, he knows that we're there for him. So, all right, guys, I will see you next week, both on Monday and Wednesday. Monday, I will have a new live draw. Oh, and I don't know if you guys know this.
Right. Yeah, I do.
Promote yours.
I do a live draw on Tuesday nights, 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Mine's 9 p.m. Monday nights.
Eastern time. Eastern
Yes.
Central. Right? No, Eastern Standard. I always say
Eastern
Eastern Central.
Eastern Standard. And what's your YouTube page again?
Oh, mine's at JM DeSantis.
At JM DeSantis. And you guys know mine because you're watching it here. And don't forget to check out The Wiz Comic on Facebook or Instagram. Every Wednesday morning it's posted. Classic newspaper style strip. And I'll see you guys soon. Oh yes,
Wiz,
did
yeah.
I'm still waiting. This is.
I was trying to find.
I'm
a
sorry.
Wiz thing
There's my
somewhere.
hat of the Wiz. Actually, you can always pull the
Oh,
stand
there
up
he
off.
is.
He's always behind me somewhere. I'm merch is coming with the Wiz. I'm doing some tests right now. So
better have props on your show than mine.
all right, guys. I will see you all later. Have a great rest of your day, evening, week, whenever. I will see you next week. Bye, guys.